come to that time of the week again where we're needing to summarize and give a little breakdown of what's happened this week. So let's get started. So this week, the biggest one that we managed to accomplish was digging out the trenches and the skeleton of our pond system as well as stream that runs through the land. So we'll take you through exactly how that looks in a bit. It ended up taking us about a week. It was myself and our helper on the land that got stuck into it, and I think it's turned out pretty good. The next on the cards is confirming our order for the pond lining as well as getting all the stone to site, and then I think what we'll start at the bottom and slowly work our way up, teething through some learning curves, I'm sure, as we go all the way to the top, and then as we get to the right at the top here, then next week or next month will be the main pond system that we'll tackle once we've learned all our lessons through the smaller little ones. With the anticipation of our new plants coming to the land, we decided to get ahead of it, and we continued our planter beds on the one perimeter of the property, and it goes down all the way there with a few sculpted steps, and I would say that's about 30 or 40 meters. It's probably closer to 40 meters, and next week we'll get started on that planting. From our very limited knowledge, what we're attempting to do here is to raise the bed slightly for when the rainfall comes, and then also at the back, our help on the land started doing that, which makes complete sense. So when the rain comes, at least the bulk of the rain has a place to run out, and then also if it decides to come this way, it's elevated, so it can just come down onto the path and make its way down. And luckily for us, we did our tree felling beforehand, so these guys have come in real handy. The nice big ones for the steps coming down, and then the slightly smaller ones for the little boundaries on the side. And then another little nice addition that we found this week, our dragon fruits that were planted last week are slowly but surely making their grips on the posts, so that's nice to see. So part of the wood that we cut down last week, or even I think some during this week, is these big beginner stumps, trunks of the tree. They're extremely heavy, so they're cut in 2.5 meter lengths, but we need to get these guys drying properly, not lying on the ground, so that'll be part of next week's task, to get them elevated and drying. With the platforms that we did, we obviously thinking of all the streams that we're busy doing and how the rainfall is going to affect those, it obviously makes common sense that the rain's also going to affect these quite heavily now that we've flattened them a bit. So on the back end we've done a little channel. I suppose it still needs to be neatened a bit, and then finding the low points within that, so sort of bringing all the rain towards that, and then making a valley over here so that when the rains do come it can wash through, but we're also not trying to get it into the stream. So over here we'll most probably get a nice thick halved bamboo to run it all the way down, so it's not affecting the rest of the platforms that we've managed to do. So also part of the vision, doubt it's going to happen next week, most probably the following, is to sort of expose this creek and to see what we're really dealing with regards to sides and water flow and exactly where it's coming from, because that we also don't know. Over here there's a lot of landfall or like landslides that have happened, so there's this bridge also tapering on this section here, so just really wanting to see what we're dealing with, if we're needing to reinforce certain sections, really to make this space something that's really incredible to visit and be at during the time and our stay here.
So our help on the land offered to help source some plants for us. So this week we got our new order of plant babies that are ready to go in the planter beds next week. We got a whole range of perennials from the local surrounding areas, some papaya, some lemongrass, some sugarcane, some turmeric, bananas, moringa. They also managed to source us some straw from the local area as well as some compost, so we're going to give that a go this weekend and see how it all goes. Our plants that went in about 2 weeks ago are all doing well, looking healthy. We're having to monitor the chickens who like to come in and make a bit of a mess in our straw. They knock over a few of the baby plants, so just making sure that keeping my eye on that.
Look at this thing.
Come out. So as I was just talking about the chickens, here you can see our, what is this? Our noni plant has been kicked out of the ground by one of the chickens. So this is what I just got to keep an eye on, otherwise we're going to lose some plant babies. But otherwise, we've got our hose pipe set up this week, so it's making watering a lot easier. Yeah, it's been so rewarding to see the new leaves coming out and some of the flowers blooming. We got our first flower on one of our, what is it?
One of them said it was
What's that? Kung kang kang kung
kung kung.
kung. So yeah, it's all looking good. It's all taking nicely.
A very devastating little find during this week was at the beginning of our creek. It's pretty much a dump site. A lot of the people around here, there's no real systems for removal, refuse removal, so they just find places in the land. If they're not burning it, then they'll just keep dumping it. So we found one of these on our land, which is very devastating. I mean, it even goes like there's old stuff that you can't just pick up a piece of plastic. It's even like slight microplastics already, the way it's broken down. Yeah, we've got 3 bags already that our helper has put together. But as we go down here, it's like, it's intense. There's like chairs, there's old washing tubs, there's plastic for days, and it's new and it's old. Unfortunately, due to the age of this, let's call it a dump site, the plastics, a lot of it's not even whole still, so we've got all these half decaying things, so that's going to be quite a task. So we're going to have to find a way in that we can sort of pick this up with the soil, clean it out from the soil, and then separate it so that we can really get something done with this. So yeah, with that being said, it's sad, but it's something that needs to happen. We'll try get as much as we can, and we'll keep you guys updated on how that goes. And another great element that happened this week, we approved the builder's quote, so we had an on-site meeting with him. As you know, we've already taken down all the trees here so we can see the space clearly. So they're ready to go. They're ready to go on Monday. But then when we spoke to our helper and well as his family about bringing on an offering, which they normally do every time we break ground or when we did the borehole, they said with this, because it's a specific dwelling that we'll be staying in, a whole ceremony has to be done, not just the normal offerings.
So it was very kind of them to offer to help organize that. They've got to get the local priest involved. There's a lot of offerings that need to be made for the land. They're very sweet in that they didn't want to impose their local traditions on us, but just highly recommended it to honor the land and the ancestors that are here and to make it a safe environment for us to live in and for their father to work on with us.
One of the main reasons for getting the builder on site was to talk with our local helper to sort of get a feel and a read of the area, because when the builders work in different areas, they need to really take into consideration the local desa, which they're like the local village and the head, and finding out how things work here. The other big thing was access, because our access road is pretty small, just a jeep track, and there's some quite a few windy little turns and hills. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to get the larger trucks through, which we were hoping to for cost purposes. So it looks like we're going to have to get a little bit of the smaller trucks. But all in all, won't affect the price too much, we hope, and things can get started. I don't know if this guy's busy putting on his winter jacket. Trying to take it off. By the cold nights around here, I reckon he's just weaved himself a little jacket.